Hey everyone, this is my follow-up video on the Gen 2 Xfinity pod and its performance. I'll let you know right away, yes, it's performing, and it's performing better than it did 6 weeks ago when I first installed it. So that's the bottom line. Now, this is a dynamic Wi-Fi extender, meaning it adjusts itself over time. It's supposed to learn where the most Wi-Fi coverage is needed. And this is what I call the super pod, the Gen 2 Xfinity pod. And I put it in my office. Now, if you look back at my older videos, you'll see the Gen 1 pods. And I always use the office as sort of a baseline along with a few other locations. But now, since I only have one pod in my house running, it's in the office itself. And that is on the farthest opposite end of the house from the Xfinity gateway. Before, when I first installed this and I ran the tests, I received 259 megabits on my test. I'm using the test site that I use speedtest.net. I use a couple others just to sort of correlate things. Now, I know there's people out there that will say, oh, if you use this one, it's wrong, and if you use this one, it's wrong. But I just sort of stick with the same one. That way, when I compare from time to time, I know. So if it's wrong, it should be wrong consistently. But I don't really think that's the case. I was getting 259 megabits on the download speed and 25 megabits on the upload speed. So what I did today was I disconnected the pod just to see what kind of speeds I would get at this end of the house without the pod. So it's connecting straight to the gateway. And those speeds were actually disappointed. I received 101 megabits on the download speed and 24 megabits on the upload speed. The upload speed, not really an issue, but the download speed was cut more than in half. So then I reinstalled the Gen 2 pod, the super pod as I call it. And sure enough, I think the pod is dynamically adjusting itself. I got 468 megabits for a download speed. Now, the capacity of this thing, max capacity, is 500 megabits as opposed to the Gen 1 pods, which had a 200 megabit capacity. So I'm almost getting the full maximum capacity out of this pod. Now, here's another thing that's odd, and this kind of moves, but I've got the Extreme package from Xfinity, and sometimes I always get at least 300 megabits, but sometimes I get a lot faster as well. And then I'll get a notice from Xfinity saying, hey, we've boosted your speed at no charge and blah, blah, blah. So again, 468 megabits and still 25 on the upload. Couldn't be happier. I'm going to keep this thing plugged in to my office. I actually plug it into a power strip just so it's away from any walls or anything like that. But is the pod performing after 6 weeks? Most definitely it is. And then again, it's the second generation pod. So one pod will take care of a pretty large space. I've got a 4,000 square foot house. I'm at the furthest end of it, and I'm getting 468 megabits download speed. I will take that any day. One last point. I've received a lot of messages from people saying, hey, the pod's not available where I live. I know they roll these things out. They did it on the first gen. I got in early on the first generation pods. I got early in on this the second generation pod as well. And they roll it out. They don't broadcast it everywhere. So just wait, and it should come to your area. Go online. I'll put a link down below in the description and in the comments where you can go and check to see if it's available. If it lets you order it, then it is available. Otherwise, it'll say not available in your area. I've also got a lot of questions from people asking me if they should buy pods or they should upgrade their gateway first. And the approach I use is, let's take the least cost approach first. So go to Xfinity, and you should be able to trade in your existing router for the XB7, the white one, which is the latest technology that they have. And it shouldn't cost you anything. You may have to be at a certain speed level or package level for that not to cost you anything, but it's been my experience that they just trade it one for one. So first do that and see if that helps you. Now, if that doesn't help your range, then get a pod. But you've got 30 days to return these pods. So in 30 days, you should know whether that increases your coverage or not. Send it back, get your money back, right? So there's two ways that you can approach your range issues, and it shouldn't cost you anything, worst case scenario. And then the third thing you can do is go to another Wi-Fi mesh system and buy something off the shelf at Best Buy or something like that. But I'm hoping it doesn't get to that point, and I'm hoping you can solve your issues with no cost at all, just a little legwork on your part. So if you found this video interesting or informative, please do me a favor, hit the like button and the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.